Again, as a priest, I'm struggling with this. What I'm saying is, there are so many things to give. And I have only 7 minutes or possibly 8, possibly 10 minutes window, it seems that. And well, Father, then you could give us the Bible study class or something. When I open the Bible study class, people do not want to come. And so, well, how about the technology? I gave the lecture series, people didn't listen. Only the people that listen to us is really good is the homily. And I have only 7 or 8 minutes window, which I need to tell something. So many things I need to pick and choose one. Alas, which one should I choose? That was my always trouble. So I'm going to do the best I can. Again, Gospel of John. Okay, let's go to the Acts of the Apostles. Because Acts of the Apostles, there are so many things to talk about, which I neglected this entire last 3 or 4 weeks. Mea culpa. I mean, you know my intention. Intention is to stay one topic. Acts of Apostles. Just listen to this one. They stoned Paul and dragged him out of the city, supposing that he was dead. But when the disciples gathered around him, he got up, entered the city. Okay, let me dramatize a little bit. I think I mentioned that those people who comes to the daily mass. Well, since Father Charlie is not available, you heard my homily throughout the last 2-3 weeks. I think I shared the story. Remember, I wanted to know what it means to be stoned. So literally, I asked one of the brother seminarians, "Hey, stone for me. Are you serious?" "Yes. I just want to see how painful that can be." And he picked up the big one. I said, "Not that the big one, the small one, small one." And actually, he did. And I got a skull right here. I wish I could show you, but I can't, right? It was painful. One stone, painful. Today, you hear this. The details, we tended to forget the details. They stoned Paul. So those days, some Jews from Antioch, Iconium, very liberal city, arrived and won over the crowds. They stood up. He's the evil one. He's false prophet. Let's kill him. So without even knowing Paul, they stoned Paul and dragged him. You see that? Unconscious. He got injured terribly. Everybody thought that he was dead. Okay, he's killed. We don't want to leave his body here. Let's drag him out. When the disciples together, what? Paul was here? Yeah, he got stoned. What? This is insane. I think he's dead. What? Everybody rushed it. And then around it, he got up. He entered the city with the pains. With the pains. Acts of Apostles, the title Acts of Apostles moved really fast. If you read Acts of Apostles, it's really action-based knowledge. It's not like Luke. Many scholars believe that Luke wrote this, but the Greek words that Gospel of Luke versus Acts of Apostles are very different. Acts of Apostles is very action-based. Like something happened, and this, that, and move on. It's so fast. The author tried to convey that these apostles so that nothing but zeal with Christ. And so then what happened was later on, they strengthened the spirit of the disciples, exalted them to persevere in the faith. And then let me put it this way. After they had proclaimed the good news, so they entered the city with Paul. On the following day, he left with Barnabas for Derbe. And then remember, he's still injured. I mean, so painfully injured. But he still goes on. And after they had proclaimed the good news to that city, made a considerable number of disciples. How could he do that with Barnabas? I mean, with all this pain, with all this injury, He kept going on. And how did he do that? That's the question then I'm going to ask Paul when I see him in face to face, in heaven, hopefully. I think that answer can be from the gospel today. Remember today's gospel, it's right after this consolation of the Holy Spirit. Jesus says, I will die and then raised up from the dead. And he said it, and everybody, and then somebody would betray me. Peter, you would deny me 3 times. And everybody say, what? They are like, what in the world is going on? They are nervous. The disciples are nervous now. And then he consoled. This is what we call the chapter 12 to 14. This is a great consolation from Jesus, from the Gospel of John. He's consoling. He gives a consolation to these disciples. And today he says, listen, Holy Spirit will come. Yesterday you didn't hear the gospel because of the feast day. But yesterday's gospel was about Holy Spirit. Advocate, paraclete, advocate is coming to you. Because the question that they have is abandonment. Oh my gosh, Jesus is going to abandon us. Jesus is going to leave us. We are going to be, what? Abandoned. No. Jesus says, no. This is good that I'm going back to Father. Once I suffered and died and raised from the dead, and I will be raised, I will go back to Father. It's a good thing. Because you will receive the Holy Spirit. It's a good thing. And then he says what? Peace I leave with you. My peace I give it to you. And he says again, do not let your hearts be troubled and all afraid. Again. Paul did not meet Jesus in person, no. Paul was wonderful. He was awesome Pharisee. He kept the law to the almost like a amazing level, and he was faithful. These Christians, they are horrible people. We got to get rid of them. That was Paul. That's Saul. And then Saul resurrected Jesus. And he followed the Lord. With the same zeal. Even all this physical pain, all this misunderstanding, all this ridiculous, you are the Pharisees who follow the law to the next level, and yet you are following these stupid people called Christians? Yes, I do. Because this is the truth, he said. I bet. No wonder why so many considerable number of disciples became Christians. I'm sorry, I'm speaking too much, but can you see this connection here? Question was, how did Paul, almost to the moment of death, follow the Lord? What was the source of the energy? What motivated him for that? The motivation we can glimpse from today's gospel. Jesus consoled his followers. He's consoled his disciples, and he's consoled his followers. Remember, the Gospel of John is written for the community who was severely persecuted. What has to do with our life? I mean, if Paul can do it, if we get the same message then, why can we not have the same zeal Paul? What's missing link here? We got the better one. We got the Holy Eucharist. We have a better theology, so to speak. After 2,000 years, we got accumulation of all the Jesus teachings. We got the church. We got a technology. We got everything better. We have a safe environment. Yet, what is missing here? What's the missing point? What are we missing? Why are we not following like Christ? Why do we not follow Christ like a Paul? I think that's the question that we must ponder today. What am I missing? why can't I not follow Christ like Paul, even though we got all this wonderful thing? Let's ask Jesus when we receive Jesus in our heart one day. So